As a child, I was always fascinated with the miracles of nature. Perhaps precisely because we lived in the city rather than in the country, the little glimpses we had of the world beyond bricks and concrete were all the more intriguing. In the backyard trees, I loved to watch the birds nest and lay their eggs, and I became quite proficient at telling what kind of bird had laid the eggs, and so what kind of bird would emerge from them. My favorite was the robin's egg, which was a magnificent pale blue. In fact, the color is known as robin's egg blue. It was a color very similar to the color of the sky on a bright sunny day. That always puzzled me, since the robins themselves had nothing blue about them, but were brown with a gorgeous flaming red breast. Already on their blue egg, though, was imprinted the dream of the sky, which was their home. At first, of course, I had no idea what the eggs were. To me, they were just beautiful decorations, much like the colored rocks we used to find buried in the soil, some of them bearing the imprint of fossils, animals and plants that I was told had lived millions of years before. Those fossils fascinated me too. They were a link to the remote past, and I wondered what those prehistoric animals would have thought had they known they were going to be seen by the eyes of a little boy in 1960. And I wondered whether these other perfectly shaped blue rocks hidden in the bird's nest also contained the remains of something long dead. I quickly learned from the old people, however, that these particular stones were very special. They weren't stones at all, but something called eggs, and they contained a body too, but not the body of something that had lived a long time ago, but rather the body of something that was about to come to life. This was absolutely fascinating. I didn't understand it. Who does? But I was in awe of the magic of it all. Sure enough, one day it would happen that the new life broke out of its shell and emerged into the light. The beautiful blue shell, now broken in two, always found its way into my box of treasures, that secret little chest that I suppose every little boy keeps to store those things that are most precious to him. But the tiny creature that remained in the nest did not much resemble a robin at all, or any other kind of bird. It was rather a scrawny, hairless, featherless, rather ugly little mite of indeterminate color that seemed to be mainly composed of a wide-open mouth, always demanding to be fed. It was amazing that this puny, squawking, naked little beast would soon be covered with magnificently colored feathers and fly away, singing the beautiful, distinctive song of its tribe. It was even more amazing that all this had once been hidden in the mysterious sky-blue gem we call an egg. With my little boy's imagination, I wondered if that egg, while still an egg, ever dreamed that it would one day sing and fly. I wondered if the tiny acorn, while still an acorn, ever dreamed that it would one day be marveled at for its strength and the generous shade it would give. And now, so many years later, I wonder if the little boy, while still a boy, ever dreamed that he would one day be speaking to a beautiful group of people in church. It all began with a dream. Perhaps the egg never dreamed. Perhaps the acorn never dreamed. Perhaps the little boy never dreamed. But certainly God dreamed. God dreamed a magnificent dream. And God dreamed the egg into the robin, dreamed the acorn into the oak, dreamed the boy into the man. In the lovely words of the old British writer James Allen, the greatest achievement was at first and for a time a dream. The oak sleeps in the acorn, the bird waits in the egg, and in the highest vision of the soul, a waking angel stirs. Dreams are the seedlings of realities. Yes, it is the same with all of us. You are undoubtedly a stone, bearing ancient fossils, the indelible marks of those who came before, parents, grandparents, ancestors from time immemorial. You are who you are, in very large part because of who they were. And you should be proud to carry those precious relics inside of you, for it is they that have given you shape. But you are not merely a fossil-bearing stone. You are much more a life-bearing egg. Inside of you is not merely the memory of a distant past. Inside of you is the seed of a future about to burst forth and blossom. Amazing things lie hidden inside of you. Inside of you, there is something great waiting to be born. Inside of you is a book waiting to be written, a life waiting to be lived, a world waiting to be called into existence. Inside of you is a giant oak tree, a bird to sing and to soar. Inside of you, the past, the present, and the future are all contained in one eternal moment. You can't stay an egg forever. You will rot. You can't stay an acorn forever. You will be eaten by a squirrel. You can't live off a fossilized past, no matter how glorious. You will become a fossil yourself. C.S. Lewis saw this clearly and pointed out, it may be hard for an egg to turn into a bird. It would be a jolly sight harder for it to learn to fly while remaining an egg. We are like eggs at present, and you cannot go on indefinitely being just an ordinary, decent egg. We must be hatched or go bad. And so the egg has to stop being merely an egg if it ever dreams of singing, if it ever dreams of soaring. The acorn has to stop being merely an acorn if it ever dreams of growing great and touching the sky. And the human being has to stop living merely on the level of the physical, the carnal, the earthly, if anything higher than the earthly is ever to be ours. Learn from the acorn. Learn from the mustard seed. Learn from the little blue robin's egg. For in the dream of each of these is hidden the kingdom of God.